Welcome back, lads. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Locke. Now, let's just address the elephant in the room. What is with this pedo mustache? Well, I'll tell you what, boys. It is Movember right now. We're growing it out for men's health, men's awareness, suicide prevention, all that terrible stuff that occurs. And the main point is to get people to talk about it. No one deserves to struggle alone. So ask your mates if they're all good, alright? Have that conversation. Don't be afraid. Support your boys. Alright, so today's video. Well, first of all, before we get started, follow me on Instagram, 00lock, all that good stuff. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, because, you know, your boys out here making content and just having loads of fun while we're doing it. Make sure you leave a comment, because I read all the comments, address all the comments. Love to see them, boys. Keep up the good work. And also, thank you for all the recent subs, because, you know, we're nearing on at 2,000 subscribers. We'll be there before we know it. And yeah, we've got a BRZ coming our way early next year. Now, today I just wanted to make an update video about the WRX. I wanted to have a clean, simple conversation, real talk here, boys, because we have done 100,000 kilometers on the WRX since owning it. Now, if you're an American, which most of you are, that is 60,000 miles. And I thought I'd give you just some overall advice, some tips, and a bit of a review. So let's get started and let's get into the video. All right, I'm gonna cut to the chase here, boys. I know why you've clicked on this video, and you might be wondering, Locke, it's an EJ25 engine. Has it blown up? Well, short answer is, yes, it has blown up. Was it my fault? Absolutely not. Now, at about 40,000 Ks of ownership, I did take this to a tuner who was going to do a road tune. What's a road tune, you might ask? It's just a bloke on a laptop making some changes, testing it up and down the road. A couple hours later, should be tuned, all good, right? No. He called me back, said it was knocking, which it was, pretty badly. Blamed it on me. Now, this was a bit of a stressful time, all right? So I'm gonna skip past all the crap here. But in the end, I ended up basically getting a brand new STI short block put in the car. So the heads were shaved and cleaned. The STI short block was assembled. It cost me $7,500 to get it rebuilt. And yeah, a bit of a stressful time. So I would highly recommend you do not do that. Go and see a proper tuner who has a dyno tune. Do your research, boys, because it's going to save you a big headache in the long run, and hopefully, you know, it doesn't happen to you what happened to me. But let's get to the good stuff, all right? The engine itself, so far, at 117,000 kilometers, it has been perfect. Honestly, I cannot fault it. And so it shouldn't, honestly. It's basically a pretty brand new engine. The only thing I have to worry about, and what you should be doing too, all right, if you own a Subaru, is just check the oil every week. Check the coolant every week. Just make sure your levels are all good. Make sure your fluids are good. I do have to top up the coolant maybe once every 5 to 10,000 kilometers. But apart from that, the engine, it's clean, man. Now, I am running at about 180 kilowatts at the wheels on a proper dyno tune, about 16 pounds of boost. That's around about 260, 270 horsepower at the wheels, all day, every day, as a daily driver. It has been excellent. I would like to say that this has been a pretty good daily, not gonna lie. No, I don't track it or anything, don't track the car. I haven't done any drag or anything like that. It's purely been my daily driver. I've done a few modifications on, and I've simply enjoyed it over the years. The WRX itself, it's a pretty comfortable car. You know, it's stock suspension, the springs are still, you know, they're sporty, but they're not something crazy like you would go to, you know, like really hard coilovers. For me, I've got 8,000K spring rates, I think, all around, and the dampening's about a medium setting. So, you know, it does give a little bit of bump, especially if you're on terrible roads. But, you know, I like to feel the road. You know, if you got a WRX, I think you get a really raw driving feel compared to something like a Golf R or something. You know, this just feels a lot more raw. You know, you can feel the ground, you know exactly where you are on the road. I quite like it. If you are driving any longer than, say, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, it starts to get a little uncomfortable. You know, the lower back can start to hurt a little bit. Long road trips, it's not really recommended, but you know, it's really up to the person. Now, the ride height's really good in this car. You're actually sitting, I think, a little bit higher than what you would usually would in a kind of sportier car. The visibility out of the car is exceptional. You don't have any blind spots because it's a 4-door, and you got that extra quarter panel window at the back there too. Mirror's good enough, you can see exactly where you want to be. The only problem I do have at the moment, the front end is very bubbly. So I really do not like front parking this car. I reverse into every single car spot. And that's probably because I got PTSD from when I was in uni. I scraped a pole like the very first week that I got the car. It's a bit hard to front park, and sometimes you don't know where the edge of your car is. A little bit shit in that regards. Fuel consumption. Now, if you're going to daily drive this, you need to know that these things aren't particularly great on fuel, but it really depends how you drive them. If you're going up hills to work, if you're going up, you know, lots of inclines, they're pretty terrible. But if it's a fairly straight road, fairly flat, you know, you're on the highway cruising at 60, 65 miles an hour, which is 100, 110 Ks an hour here, it's fairly decent. I get about 9 to 10 litres per 100 kilometres. Let's just average it out to about 10. And even if you put your foot down, it really doesn't differ too much. You might get like 11 and a half. And speaking of fuel, I'm actually pulling in right now to get some more fuel because I am low. So, oh, fuel's expensive. Oh boy, that's expensive. All right, that is a full tank of gas. Now, we have to use 98 octane here, which is equivalent to 93 octane in America. We use a different rating system, so don't at me on that one. That cost me $100 Australian, and that's for 45 litres of fuel. But hey, you know, we bought a WRX for a reason, and it's not for the fuel economy. But if you do daily drive a WRX, you need to know that you're going to be paying a little bit more for fuel. Smiles per gallon, boys, smiles per gallon. One last thing before we move on about driving. The plastics do kind of rattle a little bit, which you would expect if you've got a loud exhaust and you've got stiffer springs and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to have a bit more vibration in the car. But yeah, it does get a little rattly. But you know, there's a very simple fix to the rattle, and that's just turning up your sound system and blasting your favorite tunes. All right, boys, we are now back from our expensive gas trip, but hey, it is what it is. And I just wanted to finish off the last part of the video by talking about just the practicality and more so the functionality of the WRX itself as well. Now, of course, as a daily driver, you're going to be having passengers, and let me tell you right now, you have plenty of room for a passenger. Can sit 4-5 people very comfortably. I can sit in here comfortably without ruining my hard hat there, and no problems at all. Plenty of foot room. I am definitely on the taller side of the spectrum, so I do need a bit of leg space. You can fit all your groceries in the back, no problemo. It's got a fairly big hatch in itself, and the best thing about a hatchback is if you need more room, unhatch that, boom. Look at all of that space. Like, you can literally lay down and sleep in that if you wanted to. See this massive 9'3" surfboard right here on the wall? I can fit this in this car, all right? If I lay it from end to end and I manipulate the chairs a little bit, I can get my surfboard, my Mal, in the WRX hatchback. Now, if that isn't functionality, I don't know what is. Now, I understand that I haven't covered every single topic about this car as a daily driver, so I wanted to keep the video fairly shortish. So the good thing is for you boys is I respond to my comments, all right? I enjoy looking at my comments. So if you, for any particular reason, have a question about the car as a daily driver, or just any generalized question anyways, let me know in the comment section down below, or even PM me on Instagram at 00lock. I'm happy to answer any questions there. And would I recommend it as a daily driver? Honestly, yeah, I would. If I could afford to keep the WRX and the BRZ as well when that comes, and have the WRX as a daily driver and turn the BRZ into a track weapon / weekend warrior, I would. But, you know, boys, reality strikes, and I cannot afford to do that. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.